Hello, I hope you can hear me. Like I stated, I am sitting in a Starbucks, so the noise, the background noise, can be distracting. If that's the case, I apologize. However, I wanted to be sure that um, I am taking attendance now, so I can report on the census report, which is due next week. Okay, so most people attended today, as I anticipated, which is great. So I hope that all of you can attend at least once. And next week, I'll try to put up the module as soon as possible. Okay, and so for week 2, now this includes journal number 1. If you need an extension, or if you need to turn in your work late for week 2, go ahead and do that. Within the next week, sometime next week, please submit your work. You don't have to submit it on Sunday because I put up week 2 quite too late. But if you are able to meet the deadline, which is September 17, go ahead and meet that, because not only will it allow you to catch up, it will also not make you get behind. That's obvious, but things can become overwhelming in a hurry in this class. Okay, so let me explain week 2. But before I do this, does anyone have any question? Okay, if no one has any question, I assume that everything is peachy, so to speak. Let's see, the 5th are, I got Rihanna, I got Abdullah, I got Hillary. For my attendance, there was one other person who just joined us and then left. Not sure why. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and yeah. Do you want to ask something? Somebody is speaking, or someone want to ask something? Someone want to say something? No? If not, I'm gonna assume that you don't have any question. Is that a fair assumption? Okay. Well, nobody's talking to me, so I'm talking to myself now. Which is fine. Anyways, so you need to begin with the weekly required readings. So week 2 right here. Please go ahead and look at read chapter 1 and 2 of the Sympathizer, which is our priority. Right? You need to start reading this novel today if you haven't already begun. And what else? Oh, and if you have, and if you know and understand the first 2 chapters well, go ahead and you can always go read more to your heart content if you have the time. And if you're waiting for your book, again, the links to our books are under announcements, just to reiterate what I told you before. So links to our books. So this is the link to the Sympathizer. Okay. You need to figure out a way to, if you're gonna choose to read the book on this website, you need to figure a way to annotate it. Okay. So Web Genius Annotator, which is a Genius Web Annotator. Sorry, I got it backward. This Chrome extension, it's an extension for Chrome, allows you to annotate this web page with this website. Okay, so that should help. So add web annotator, use web annotator to your Chrome extension, and then let it allow you to annotate. So there's also the preface and introduction of On Writing Well. Again, you get On Writing Well here, right here. Okay. The link is still working, so go ahead and look at this book. The introduction. Scroll down. You're gonna see it. Don't forget to read the front and back covers of this book. Okay. Look at the table of contents. Look at the back, and then look at the inside materials right here, and go all the way down. My computer is going bonkers. Go all the way down to introduction and read this part, this section that's about four pages long. 1, 2, 3, 4 pages long. Okay. So, and then look at chapter 3, writing the personal essay, and this is on in our Curious Writer. Okay, so click on the Curious Writer link to get to the book. Okay, and chapter 1 and 2 was assigned to you last week. Now we're reading chapter 3. Okay, right here. That starts on page 71. So you have to scroll down a lot to get there. But you gotta have to look at this chapter to figure out how to write a personal essay according to the inquiry approach. Inquiry, okay? Inquiry approach. I'm probably saying it wrong, but I'm gonna type it out. Inquiry-based approach. It's another way of saying be curious, which is why our title, the book title, is called The Curious Writer. Okay? We want you to be curious about a controversial topic that you selected last week. Chapter 3 talks about that. Okay, right here. You can read this table of content before you read the chapter. Okay. Yeah, yeah, like Curious George, exactly. All right, so the other 3 bullets are just for your information. If you need a review on each one of these, I've got links for you here. So check them out. Then when you're ready, click next. And this video tells us of another option to annotate online text. So she's talking about a program, not a Chrome extension. So this is yet another way to annotate online texts. And I think it works for PDFs as well. The Genius Web Annotator does not work for PDFs. Okay, so that's another thing that you gotta figure out. But if you transport the PDFs to an app like what is it? Kindle, a Kindle reader. You know, that reader will allow you to annotate PDFs. Other readers can actually do that too, but not Adobe, because Adobe wants you to pay for it. Okay, so any free app or any free program that can read and let you annotate the PDFs, you can also use that, but that video there explains another way. All right, so once you're ready, click next to read the journal response instructions. So this journal is on week 1, required reading, so we're working backward now. So look, by this time, I am expecting that you have already read these bullets. So you choose any quote from any of these reading items, and then you write out that quote. Okay, so write out a quote and explain why you chose it. So look at this student exemplar for a better idea of what Miss Bundros has done for her first journal. Okay, so she wrote it out, and she identified where it came from, okay, and by who, and why she chose it. Okay, and this first paragraph deals with those things I just told you. Then the next 2 paragraphs she connected to her life, her personal experiences and observations and readings. So that's matching with the with number 2 and 3 here. Okay, so read these and then make sure that you do text to text and then text to word connections when you discuss the quote you selected, and be paying attention to the required formatting, the formatting requirements here. It needs to be an MLA. It needs to look like this, like the student exemplar right here, okay? So 4 items on the left, your page number, the insert page number in the header with your last name in front of it. There needs to be a title that is original. Please do not call it journal number 1. So I might push this back to you if I see this. Okay, don't do this. Instead, do something like this title right here. This title captures perfectly what the quote is and what she's talking about. Okay, and it needs to be a full page long. So if it's only half a page, I might push it back to you and I say, please redo. Okay, so be careful with that. Most students, you know, for the first few journals, they only wrote half a page. And today, when I checked the submissions, one of you did this. So I'm not sure why, but one of you did this. Okay, and that's not what you want. That's not what I want to see at all. So please be careful with your formatting, and don't cheat by using the margins, manipulating the margins. So I hope that makes sense to you. If not, let me know. All right, so that's the journal number 1. It's not a hard graded. I don't grade this hardly. I mean, not hardly. I don't grade this assignment strictly. I just see that you follow everything that I've stated, and if you do, I just give you a 10 out of 10. So one of the easier assignments here. Okay, once you are ready, click on the next item in the module, which is this one, the online study skills and managing time. It actually opens up to open this up to a new page, and it's interactive because it gives you 2 activities that lets you do personality profile and also procrastination profile, and tells you ways to deal with those. So watch this video, which is about 12 minutes long, and do the activity. Okay, do the activity like this. Like which profile are you? I actually, when I did this, mine came out to be the pressure cooker, which meant that I need to I do need to improve on my time management, because I'm nowhere near good enough balancing act and the early birth are the best types. The improviser is the worst type. Okay, so there are 4 types of time management profile here, and find out for yourself which one are you. Okay, and then there's another one here for the procrastination checklist, which is helpful, very helpful for me, I must say, because it woke me up and made me realize that I am a procrastinator big time. And as we all know, to be successful in college, we don't want to be procrastinating. So this is helpful in that regard. Now let me explain what I would like for you to do after doing that 12-minute video. Please go here to your picture, right? Open it in a new tab, and then go here. Hover your mouse over the picture here, over the space there, and upload your picture. You can upload your picture. You can take the picture. You can do from Gravatar. 3 choices, and then have a picture up here, a profile picture up here. And that's what I would like for everybody to do. If you've already done this, don't worry about it. Okay. If not, please put a profile picture of yourself there. Not your dog, not your friends, not your family, but yourself. Okay. Maybe you can have yourself with maybe your nephew or your niece, like I have here. But something that I can tell that this is you. It's important for the reason that when I see you again in person during the final exam, I might not have to check your ID, okay? So because I know who you are. So don't forget. Don't worry about putting your profile in. You put in your personality type in your profile, because I haven't figured it out yet myself. So just worry about putting your profile picture on Canvas. That's all. So click next after you're done, and then this page explains, including a tutorial video on how to participate in online class discussion. And you've already figured it out, because I explained it during the orientation and also last week. Oh no, wait, last week was orientation, sorry. And earlier this week. So this is just a reminder. Anyway, click next to go to our week 2 discussions forum. And it says complete all tasks below. It has number 2 there to indicate week 2. It says here a task is bolded and highlighted. So this is the task, okay? This is the task. And I've also made it even obvious for you to see that I will accept and grade your late submissions. So if you need time, go ahead and take more time. If not, do try to get them in as soon as possible, because then you have other things to worry about next week. So the first task is annotation, review, and practice. I've already explained the Genius Web Annotator, which is this one right here. But if you have more questions, maybe you can ask me, and then I can explain to you later on. So to complete this task, all you need to do is write and post a paragraph on your plan. How would you go about annotating the sympathizer? So for example, if you have already gotten the hard copy of the book, okay, and just write a short paragraph explaining, oh, I already bought the book and I have it. So I plan on annotating this hard copy the old-fashioned way by highlighting with a pencil, highlighting with highlighters and marking it up with my pencil. Okay, so things like that you can write. So if you are planning to use Genius Web Annotator, please write that as well. Okay, so these 3 bullets below are guides to develop your own annotation system. And this picture right here explains the symbol system of annotating. For example, the loop here, the infinity loop symbol represents I made a connection. So you can use that symbol for whenever you come to a connection when you read the sympathizer, for example. And then if you have a question, you put a question mark. That makes sense. If you came upon new information, you put exclamation point. So I think this simple system works for most people, So it could also be for you as well, if you like it. Otherwise, if you've gotten used to highlighting and doing your own system of annotation, because for me, I just like to write everything out. Okay? So let me show you my book. So if you look at my screen and then look at how I do my annotation. Let me turn to a page like this page right here. I don't know if you can see it, but I write on the margins and it's very ugly, but it works for me. Other people looking at my annotation might not understand what I wrote, okay, but it works for me. So what works for you is up to you. Any questions so far? Please ask me questions. Otherwise, I would just assume that you got it. All right. Continue then with the next task. This task asks you to post 2 bullets. One on your 2 or more impressions after. Wait, that's a. I just noticed an error. So let me fix it. Post 1 or 2, or excuse me, 2 or more impressions on after looking at the books. The books, The Sympathizer and On Writing Well. Okay. So let me fix this. Say 2 or more impressions after reviewing them. Sorry about that. Then predict what you will learn from each book. Okay, now if you've already started reading them, go ahead and still post your initial impressions before you read them, and then also predict what you will learn. Okay, you can still predict. So that task is quite simple. Should take you very no longer than 5 minutes. I would say. But this next task here should take you longer than 5 minutes because it is the introduction to the Fierce Writer. And you get to answer 4 questions. So you need to look at the Curious Writer at chapter 1. Okay? You find the answers in chapter 1 and 2, but chapter 1 should be sufficient enough for you to answer those 4 questions. Now, I would like you to pay attention, special attention to this metaphor of inquiry. If you don't know what this metaphor means, and looking at this picture, you don't know what it means, you need to go back and read chapter 1, okay? Or look at chapter 1 and see what Ballinger, the author of The Curious Writer, what he says about this metaphor, okay? Then after that, please watch this short introductory video, and this is Ballinger himself. Okay, he speaks to us from his office about what the personal essay does for his in his book and for us. You go ahead and watch this, and then to complete this task, you need to post a short paragraph reflecting on this question, and then you also need to post your pre-write. Okay, so 2 things for that task: your response to this, and then your pre-write for your personal essay. Now, if you don't know what to pre-write about, you need to go back and rewatch this video, and then looking at chapter 3. Okay, but I'm pretty sure that after you watch that video, you have a better idea of what to pre-write. A pre-write, as you know, is the first step of the writing process. We begin here. One of the ways that we often pre-write is just free writing, just write for non-stop for 10 minutes or so. Or another way to pre-write, as you recall, is doing a cluster, doing a concept map, drawing out a concept map or a cluster, or doing list out your ideas. So those are the ways to pre-write. So please post up there for me. After that, please go to the next prompt, which allows you to look at exemplars. And I need to fix this. I had Previously, I had 4 bullets up for 4 different exemplars, but Canvas somehow there was a glitch, so the other 3 are missing. So I need to go back and upload them. But to complete this task, you need to post what you learn after looking at the exemplars. Okay? Exemplars means perfect examples that are really good that you should be learning a thing or two from them, from reading them. Okay. Then the last task is for you to discuss this question from the sympathizer. Okay. Can I explain? Oh, and don't forget to respond to other people's posts. Okay. Now that would be all for week 2. Can I help you with anything else? What questions do you have? Time for questions. Okay. Questions?
Okay, yeah.
Anyone?
Yeah. Yeah, no, this has been good to me for a really long time. So I'll send that.
Actually, you don't have a week. You don't have a week, okay? So let me clarify. You may take additional 2 more days. If you wait for a week, you won't be able to complete week 3. So week 3 begins on Monday. Okay, this coming Monday, that's when week 3 starts. So if you wait and then don't do your week 2, guess what? You also need to do week 3. So it's not a good idea to push your work back. So try to tackle your work, but again, if you need to a few extra days to get it all done, please do that. But I wouldn't. I mean, while I will not give you the late penalty, even if you turn it in next week, you know, ideally you should not wait until a week later. So I hope that answers your question. Other questions?
I haven't charged it all the way through. And even when I type in battery on here, it's kind of doing
Giving you wait time to think of other questions. Okay, if you have no other questions, let me take attendance. PD Tran is here. Okay, so I've taken attendance for today, and this week that will help me out with deciding who to drop for my census report. So you are safe. Every one of you who has attended today or this week or the orientation is safe. I won't drop anyone who has attended or Zoom meeting or online orientation or in-person orientation. I had to turn away many people who wanted to add the class. So now I realize that the number of enrollment for my class, for this class, is below 30. So, which is good, you know, then that means that I get to interact with you more. A larger class is less time for me to interact with you. All right, so I wish you luck as you work on your assignment for this week. Okay, so just to remind you that the way I grade discussions for forums is that I look at whether you've done all of the tasks and whether you've replied to your classmates. Okay. Now that means that I don't really ping you on getting a task wrong. So try your best. For example, if you got this question totally wrong, you know, I might point it out to you that you got it wrong, and your classmates might point it out to you, but it won't affect your grades. What I'm saying, okay? Somebody else just joined us, so let's see. Okay, no, that's it. So thank you for joining me today. Have a lovely weekend, and reach out to me, and I'll type in my email again here for you. Oops. And then here's my text number. You can text me if it's something urgent. Okay, so go ahead and shoot me a text if you need to contact me right away. So that's how to reach me outside of Zoom meetings. All right, guys. Again, have a great weekend. I'm gonna end the class now. Take care.